The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hi, this is Esther Gulius, the tax lady, everybody, and this is our hour to talk taxes, and it's kind of a continuation from the financial guys because we were there talking with Mike and Glenn in the last half hour. I have Dana Bobowitz here, and she's going to be in the financial guys' office, so that's so great. Hey, Dana, thank you for coming, staying over.
Thank you for having me.
And she's so happy she's on the radio, aren't you?
I am.
Well, she's lying. And then Chris Fabian. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Esther.
And Tiffany's over at the office doing tax returns, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, officially, the IRS opens on Monday until for electronic returns. I think I misled people a minute ago because I said that they were open, and Mike said, aren't they always open? Well, they are always open, but for electronic filing for the 2016 season, Monday's the first day. And we want to make sure that we tell people that your refund, if you have child tax credit for children under the age of 17, earned income credit, American Opportunity Tax Credit, they're not even going to issue the refund until after February the 15th. So that really puts a cramp in a lot of people's style. I know I had clients this week that came in who also were on Obamacare, and they were trying to file the return without the 1095A. That's not a good idea. Why, Chris?
Well, you got to match up your subsidy to your income to make sure everything is on the up and up. And if you don't have it, the IRS doesn't like it, and they're not going to take your return.
And they just hold it up.
Yep.
So here you were, you think, oh, I'm going to beat the tax man. I'm going to file early. You don't report your 1095 subsidy from the New York State of Health, and then they bounce it back to you, and they don't process it till June. So it's not a good idea. You need the 1095A.
Right. You got to have it.
I mean, you haven't seen any, have you yet, Dana?
No. Tim had mentioned that they're coming down in batches.
Yep.
Okay.
I saw one yesterday.
You did?
You did?
Yep. They started with the A's.
Can you get it online at all?
Probably not till they're all done mailing, is my guess.
Somebody checked at my office to see, and he couldn't get it.
Couldn't get it. Okay. Well, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax, in studio here with Dana Bobowitz, Christopher Fabian. If you have any questions, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. Want to talk about some of the major tax law changes. Starting this year in 2017, seniors that had medical expenses now have to reduce the deductibility of medical expenses by 10%. Through 2016, it's still 7.5%. Okay.
Right.
ITINs, if you are somebody that files a tax return with a taxpayer identification number, you have to have that before April the 18th in order to claim the dependent on this year's return. And old ITINs that are older than 3 years have expired. So you have to contact the Internal Revenue Service and get your ITIN renewed. Right?
Yep.
Let's see, partnerships. When do partnership returns have to be in, Dana?
Is that the March 15th? Yes.
March 15th, right.
Yep.
So that's a change. And they charge you a lot of money for filing late on a partnership. So you want to make sure if you're somebody that has a partnership return, you get that in by March the 15th. Tuition and fees deduction. Now this would be if you can't do your AOL,
AOTC. No,
AOL,
you have mail.
Your AOL, your AOTC, American Opportunity Tax Credit, or Lifetime Learning. Then the next thing would be tuition and fees deduction, and that was done in 2016. So this will be the last year for tuition and fees and MIP.
Yep, they are itemized deduction for your mortgage insurance.
Yep.
And personal energy credit.
That's right.
So if you were just going to put on storm doors this year, the personal energy credit is gone for 17, still good for 16. The other thing is, why is it important that people put their driver's license on their tax return?
Identity theft.
That's exactly right. So we're doing everything we can to speed up the processing of the return. This year, you can put your driver's license on the federal return, but you must put it on New York State, correct? or
Right.
a state ID
Correct.
if you want your refund more
Processed.
or less sped up. I guarantee you, if you don't have that on the return, God knows when you're going to get your refund from New York State.
Yeah, I mean, they always find a reason. Last year it was W-2s, and that could be it this year. Can you please send us a copy of your license? So who knows?
Right. All right. Well, why don't we quickly go to the phones, and we'll go back with my list of things changing this year. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And Frank, let me do this one then. Hi, I'm Esther Golias. How can I help you?
Yeah, my home was, my mom passed away last year, and home is going to be sold in the next week. And it's in the city of Buffalo, $52,000. I wondered, do I have to pay taxes on the $52,000?
Okay, Dana, you want to answer that? No, she wants me to. She knows the answer.
Okay.
All right. Well, first of all, did you inherit the house, or was it in your name before her death?
We inherited it. There
Okay.
was 3 kids that inherited it all together.
So Dana, give him the good news. He gets a stepped-up basis, right?
That's right. There is no taxes on that.
Right. So you're going to report it, but you're going to get a stepped-up basis because your mom didn't gift it to you prior to her death, and it went through the estate. And so if you sold it for 52, and if it was worth 52, she passed away shortly. You said, right?
They said that we have to hold it for 7 months with New York State law. The money's got to be put into a trust in case there's anybody that's got any kind of...
Oh, did she not have a will?
Excuse me?
Did she not have a will?
Yeah, she had a will, and it was all willed to us and the whole 9 yards.
Okay, but when did Mom pass away?
5 months ago.
Okay, so when the estate is settled, you guys are not going to pay taxes. It's going to be split 3 ways, and you all get a stepped-up basis. So it's going to be, even though you have to jump through a little hoop, you got to put it on the Schedule D. It's not going to be taxable to you. Okay?
I have all my taxes done by you guys, so I'll just let you know what the paperwork I...
All right, and then we'll take good care of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
he may even be able to claim a loss if, depending. He said what it was worth 55.
Right.
We'll say if he sold it for 55 through a realtor, you got all your
All the
closing
expenses,
costs and
right.
everything. So there could be a loss for him and his siblings.
That's exactly right. Not a big loss, but a
No,
loss,
but
right?
anything could help.
And let's see, we'll go quickly to Pete in Orchard Park. Hey, Pete, how can we help you?
Hi, I've got an interesting situation. My mom had a stock certificate given to her in 1964. A company that was $1 a share, and she got 10 shares of it in 1964.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck it away in a drawer and didn't touch it until her death, and she died in 2009. The stock certificate went up significantly as it went through several splits.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happened is the person that gave my mother the stock was her brother-in-law. However, he never signed it over to her. He passed away in 1977, so the stock was still in his name.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody did anything with this stock for all those years, the state claimed it under unclaimed funds.
Okay.
Now, to make it more complicated, I had to go through a legal proceeding, but I ended up getting possession of that stock about 3 months ago.
Okay.
Company was sold 2 years ago, and it was at $127 a share when it was sold.
Okay.
Hasn't moved since then. I'm trying to figure out what my tax liability would be.
Okay, so let's unscrew the spaghetti, Chris. Wouldn't you say that since it was inherited, so it went from the brother that obviously passed away to the mother,
Yep.
and then he inherited it from the mother.
Yep.
So it would have been the fair market value on the date of Mom's death would be his basis.
Well, the state contested it, and they said that it was not hers, but we had to go to court, and it wasn't hers until June of this year.
Okay, but
So then
but
you
she was
inherit-
gone by then, correct?
I became her executor in 2009. It went to when the court ruled it. They ruled it in favor of my mom's estate in June of 2016.
Okay,
I-
but Mom passed away when?
In 2009.
2009, and so you're saying that it actually didn't go to her; it went directly to you, correct?
Correct.
Okay, So the fair market value then would go back to him then, wouldn't it?
It would,
It goes back to the original at the time of his death because
the uncle.
Because mom didn't
brother-in-law.
get it.
Right. So it would actually go back to what it was worth when your
uncle
died.
And that would be your cost basis. But that's really easy to find out. So, Pete, if you need help with that, give us a call and we'll look it up for you.
See, I'm wondering, though, okay.
Go to Yahoo Stocks, right? Yahoo
Yeah,
Finance.
he's just, I think he's a little, he doesn't like what we just said. He wants to use the stepped-up basis from right now.
Right.
But that's
it
not.
It doesn't sound like it's 10 shares anyway, so what are we talking
And $125 per share, so $1,200. Plus, if you're in the 15% bracket or lower, there's no tax.
Right, except for the state of New York a little bit. So,
Yep.
But what you need to do is give us a call and we'll do all the research for you. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short break for some messages. We'll be back with your calls, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone on the other side. Sugar pie, honey bun. I know this song. If it's an oldie but a goodie, Auntie Esther's in there like flies on honey. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. Hey, all of our offices are open. Actually, 9 to 5 today, 9 to 9 Monday through Friday from now on until the end of tax season.
Yep.
And we'll let you know when we extend it during crunch time. And we have Dana Bobowitz here. She's going to be over at the Financial Guys. And Dana, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And Chris Fabian, she's a little scared.
Yes.
You guys got to call and ask a question.
Yeah, you want to actually ask for Dana.
I want you to answer this. See, then we're going to have to put Pampers on her. So, but we're trying to get her all broke in.
Right? I wanted to say, just wanted to thank Russ Gullo for today. He had us over at a super seminar at the Millennium Hotel.
And that was fun.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of information, people aren't aware of.
If you have any property and it's going to be a taxable event, you really ought to consider a 1031 exchange. And I know that sounds so hard to do, but it's really not. And if you've already got the paperwork and you're getting ready to close, he was saying that he's had people at closing call him up and say, I hear that I can avoid paying taxes on this by doing an exchange, and he'll put everything on hold and get the paperwork together. So in some of the cases, my example was $57,000 in tax savings, and his was like $150,000.
Yeah, but the old saying is
that's a lot of money.
Yep, knowledge is power, and that's what we try to do at EG Tax is connect you with the people who know, who can help you the best way to keep the money in your pocket.
Right. I mean, we really do know taxes, and we really, really want to help, Okay, let's go back to the other things people need to know this year. If you've gotten a letter from the IRS and you just blew it off, that is really bad, because they now have sanctions that they're putting on that area of the return that they ask questions on that you didn't answer, and you can actually lose the deduction or credit that you'd taken this year plus 2 years after that. So if you've gotten letters and you need help with that, give EG Tax a call. We already talked about the refunds being held up. You want to talk about the Fast Cash Advance?
Sure. Fast Cash Advance, it's where, with refunds being delayed, there is a new product out there where you can get up to $1,000 within 24 hours of the IRS accepting your return. So you get
it's Monday, and let's say we send all those returns, and we have a lot of people waiting for Fast Cash Advance. Tuesday, they should get their cash.
Hopefully, keep our fingers crossed. Tuesday, they should get up to the $1,000, first installment of their refund.
Right, and then whenever the IRS issues that thing, which could be end of February, March, April, whenever they're happy that there wasn't identity theft, then they take the $1,000 out, and it's an interest-free loan. That's what's really cool.
I had a couple people who are going away, and they were counting on the refund, but they had children, and now did the $1,000 to try to help fund their cost to Disney. But that's gone on the first day. But
all right, now the other thing is another thing that people need to know is that they can revoke your passport if you have seriously delinquent taxes. If they filed a lien and it's over $50,000, they can revoke your passport. Now the state of New York can revoke your driver's license.
Yep, had a couple calls of that. It's where people lost their license and they just, oh well, what now? 5 years later, what else can I do? Well, maybe you should have. When they got that first letter, don't ignore it because that's what happens.
But let's say that you have a serious delinquency. EG Tax can help you because we have an offer and compromise specialist, an attorney that works for us, where he would actually help you to reduce that payment to pennies on the dollar.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we're going to go to Ward in Forestville. Hey, Ward, how can we help you?
Hello. I see President Trump, his first 2 executive orders he signed yesterday were on Obamacare.
Yep.
And Fox News is making it sound like the one of them is he eliminated the
penalties.
Where you have to sign up or you get penalized.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I just said that at Mike and Glenn's, during Mike and Glenn's show. I haven't had any regulations come down yet, so I can't say it, but that's what it sounds like. So that would be a really wonderful thing. So the way we're going to approach it is that I would assume that if he is making it so that there is no penalty, what they would do is just not take the money from the taxpayer, from the IRS, or issue a refund later if the software is written that way right now. So right now, Ward, you know, I can't say.
Would this, if he did sign this, it would take effect, say, yesterday. It probably wouldn't include last year, 2015.
It all depends how it was written.
How it was written, you know.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, because it did say to hold people harmless. So I don't know, but it did sound like that, Ward. But I will tell you, if you're somebody that didn't have the minimum required insurance, health insurance that you're supposed to have, we were talking about it before, right, Dana?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of exceptions to penalty. So, you know, there's a exception to penalty form you can fill out and ask to have the penalty waived.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir.
You know, and our favorite one is the other. Any other fair reason you think you couldn't...
Stub my toe.
Yeah. I mean, on the seminar we did today, I said it could have been you went to Texas for 3 months because your daughter had a baby. You know, if you could explain it, they could take it.
That's true. You never know. And you just put that exception on the form asking for the penalty to be waived. It's not on the tax return, and then they have to answer it. And if Obamacare is really set aside, you know, it looks awfully good for you.
Yep.
It is very, very strange. We want to talk about that expensing, the safe harbor expense. Chris, you want to address that?
Sure. So if you're a small business owner, rental property owner, this goes to you, that you can now expense up to $2,500 per item. Okay, so if you will stick with rental properties, had to buy a refrigerator, a stove, a washer, a dryer, you just bought all new appliances, and before you had to depreciate them over 5 years, so you would write off 1/5, and now you can take that whole expense in this year. For everyone, you have to do all of them. You can't just say, I'm going to do the washer and dryer and then depreciate the stove and refrigerator. It doesn't work. You have to, what you do with one, you have to do with all. And you just make a safe allot. You put it on your repair line, separate line, and you fill out a form. I'm electing under safe harbor.
Titled, it's called a de minimis safe harbor election, titled section 1.263A-1F.
Yeah, that's not a government thing, isn't it?
Huh,
yeah.
Everybody? So that's what you do. You put on the election, you make safe harbor election, de minimis safe harbor election, title section 1.263A-1F, and you can expense up to $2,500 per item. And it's remarkable for people owning rental property that would have had to depreciate, or small businesses for that matter.
Yep. I mean, you know, we talked about it where you have a hot water tank that costs $300. You got to write that off over 5 years.
Right.
I mean, that's $60 a year.
Right.
Now they're letting you expense it, and
if you're in the 20% bracket, and it was a $600 hot water tank, you save $120.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Not to mention the state.
Right, not to mention the state. Now, you know that's interesting.
That's
Will the state
did the
be
state
coupled?
follow through?
I wonder if the state uncoupled.
We've only worked together for how long? Our minds were thinking
That's
the
right.
same thing.
Yeah, Chris, it's been a long time. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930, and a cell phone. And I'm going to go to John in North Tonawanda. Hey, John.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's new?
Hey, nothing much. I just tuned in, so this may be a repeat question, but there's a letter the insurance companies send out that supports that you do carry the insurance required, and it has to be filed with your taxes.
That's the 1095A form, right?
Is that still required this year?
Yes. So you have a subsidy, John?
This is for my daughter.
Does she have a subsidy?
What does that mean?
Are they helping her pay for the insurance?
Yes.
Okay, then she needs the 1095A form because she has to reconcile what they gave her in a subsidy against what actually happened on her taxes. So yes, she can't really file till she gets her 1095A. And I think, Dana, you said you heard that those were coming out, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And those will fall off next year more than likely.
One doesn't know. I mean, it sounds like it will, but I don't know what they're going to replace it with, John. You know? Your crystal ball is as good as mine.
Well, I doubt that. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short break for news, and we'll see you on the other side with your questions. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 and a cell phone. I like this too.
This could be a theme song for the IRS.
Why?
What I want, you got. They want your money.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. Hey, all of our offices are open today till 5 to serve you. Our mall offices are open. We're in McKinley and
Factory Outlet.
The Factory Outlet Mall. They're open on Sunday, and the rest of our offices will be open on Monday 9 to 9. Through the end of tax season, and we want to help you. And if you have any tax questions, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 to cell phone. We're going to get to how different income is taxed, but in the meantime, we have people waiting, so we're going to go to John and Sloan. Hey, John.
Hi, how are you, Esther?
Good. What's happening?
First off, I just want to say I love your tax service. Me and my wife have been going to you guys for the last 5 years, and we couldn't be any more thrilled with your staff.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I have a concern. Last year, unfortunately, my wife did not have health care coverage.
Okay.
It just wasn't feasible through my employer. I mean, it would have left me like $170.
Would you say it was a financial hardship?
It was kind of two things. One, I couldn't. Their deductible was insane.
But would you say you didn't get it because it was a financial hardship?
Yes.
Bingo. That's
Yep.
an exception to penalty.
Really?
Really?
Awesome, because I was looking at that fine, and I was looking at about $1,000 fine.
Yep, that's an exception to penalty.
Okay, and then my second question real quick, if there's time. I have private health insurance, and I have very, very good health insurance with a super low deductible and everything, but I'm just out of morbid curiosity. Can I write any of that off?
Are you paying for it yourself, or is it through your employer?
It's through it's sponsored. You know, I contribute so much each week, and then my employer pays the rest.
So that would be paid by as an employer. So therefore, it was pre-taxed. So you can't. Right?
You cannot.
You can't deduct it.
No, only out of pocket, like co-pays and stuff
That's
like
right.
that.
So it has to already be taxed income, John, and this money is pre-tax. So that's why it's not deductible because you're not paying taxes on it.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, John. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we're going to go to Tom in Tonawanda. Hey, Tom. Tom. Uh-oh, I think he fell off his chair. All right, Tom, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, what can we help you with?
I want to understand what the best way to handle if you build an addition onto your house and you're using it for a home business.
Okay. All right, so you built on the addition for your home business, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, and this is ordinary necessary. You actually are performing your function to make the money in your home business, and your business is making a profit, correct?
Well, whether it's making a profit yet is debatable.
Okay. So, Chris, Dana,
Yeah,
you
so
want to tell them about what happens when you don't make a profit? Dana, you can talk. She knows the answer. She's just like stage struck. All right.
Okay, so you're self-employed, right? I want to make sure of that.
Yes.
Okay, so in order to write anything off for your office in your home, you have to have a profit. An office and home cannot make your loss bigger or create a loss on your tax return. It can bring it down to zero, but it can't go any further. So your cost of your expansion, your addition, that would be a depreciable item over 39 years. Okay? But then you get to write off, if you do have a profit, the percentage, if it's 15%, we'll say, of your house. So you take the square footage of that addition, compare it to your whole house. So if that's 15%, then you get to write off 15% of your gas, your electric, your water, your lawn care, your snow removal.
Your insurance.
Anything you do to the house, you get to write off 15%.
Right, but not if it's but not if you have a loss, or it's going to make you get a loss. However, there is a however, right, Chris? Because that loss gets suspended.
Right. It's that just hangs out in space until you do have a profit.
And then you call up all the office and home that you weren't able to take, and then in that year you can use it.
So you can take out of the cloud.
Right.
Okay, and the time limit on that is what?
It carries forward.
It carries forward indefinitely until you make a profit. If you never make a profit, then you never can use it.
Okay, I got it.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Bye-bye.
And since he is self-employed and will have an office from home, his mileage, as soon as he leaves his house, will be deductible.
And again, we're assuming that this is not a hobby, that this is ordinary necessary. Those are the assumptions. But that's how an office and home works, is that you have to have a net profit. It has to be a place where this is where you're performing your function to make the money, and you can't end up with a loss. And if you do end up with a loss, you just carry forward that suspended office and home until the next year. Right?
Yep.
All right. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we're going to go back to the phones and talk to John. Hey, John.
Hi, this is John. How are you?
Good, John. This reminds me of a joke. I saw on Facebook yesterday that, they refer to toilets as John, right? But can you imagine if it was Jim? Then in the morning you could say, I already went to the gym this morning.
Good one.
All right. Your turn.
Hey, just my wife and I, we live here in Tonawanda. We own our home.
Okay.
This past December 2016, we just bought a condo down in Florida.
Okay.
So the question is, I think we're going to need some help with our taxes this year.
Okay.
Wondering what office or where do you recommend that we go so that we can get the proper advice and...
Well, we're probably right down the street from you. We're right on Niagara Falls Boulevard, right by the Grapevine. So is that close? We also have a North Tonawanda office.
Kenmore on Delaware by Sheridan.
And in every one of these offices, we have senior staff, so we can point you into the right direction. So if you want to call us at 632-7886, or you can text me, email me through our website at egtax.com. I can steer you to a person and a name. And we also have a record book, a rental record book.
Are you using it for rental?
We are renting it, yes.
Yep.
So that you can keep track of all your expenses, too. And you can actually stop in our Niagara Falls Boulevard office. They're open till 5, and you can pick up the record book.
I got to tell you, do you use it personally at all, or is it just strictly...
No, we just took possession of it this past December, and it's rented. It's occupied now, and it will be for the next 18 months.
Oh, okay. Okay, so not a vacation rental. So, yeah, you want to keep track of everything and anything, including your airfare. If you drive down there... anything you do that we can use that as a write-off.
Right.
Right. And I heard you mention earlier about if you own rental property, we just bought a washer and dryer for the unit.
So you can use that safe harbor election this year.
Okay, that's eligible from Florida?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a New York state law. That's a federal law.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay. All right, John, thanks for calling.
Oh.
Bye-bye. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 cell phone. And, all right, yes.
Sorry, I was just saying he said it was a condo. His homeowners association dues
is also deductible.
Right.
I mean, everything he spends that's ordinary and necessary in order to operate the condo, which would I'm assuming it's probably furnished because it's hard for people to rent for 18 months and bring their own stuff in. All the furniture, the linens, the cleaning, all that kind of stuff.
If it's in Florida, the exterminating, but that might be in the...
you also pay sales tax or some kind of a tax.
The bed tax.
In Florida, so that's also deductible.
Yep. And I got to say, I was just on an audit. These people had a rental in North Carolina. They got a 1099. They thought that was their net amount they received. So they didn't give me any of their expenses from it, but their 1099 was the gross.
Wow. So then you must have
we were very happy when we left the IRS. So
that's cool. All right, let's go to I'm going to wait for the phone calls. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 cell phone. Want to talk about different income taxed differently. The kind of income you get, the category of income you get, has its own way of being taxed, right? So like wages are taxed regularly, right?
Ordinary income.
Same thing with interest. Mm-hmm. And same thing with rents, but you get to reduce the rents by your expenses, right?
Exactly.
And same thing with pensions, correct?
Right.
Right? That's taxed as ordinary income.
Mm-hmm.
Gambling is taxed as ordinary income. Excuse me. And then you can then reduce it by your gambling expenses up to the income if you itemize.
Right.
Right?
Yep. Big thing. If you itemize.
Then there's unemployment, jury duty, executor's fees, prizes, awards, short-term capital assets, non-qualified dividends. Those are all taxed as ordinary income too, right?
Correct. Yes.
Now, let's talk about other forms of income that's taxed completely differently. How about long-term capital assets? How is that taxed?
Long-term capital assets, if you're in the 15% or lower, that's a zero capital gains on the federal, no tax. If you're from the 25 up to the 33, then it is a 15% tax, and if you're in the highest tax bracket, then you're paying 20% and possibly also then the surcharge for Medicare.
But here's the thing. If you are let's say you were making gadzooks of money and you're paying at, let's say, 38% on your wages, then you would only pay at 25%, well, actually 28 point something with the surcharge for capital gains. So you actually are saving 10% on capital gains. Capital gains are a highly favored tax.
Yes, right. Bracket. And that's where you hear, during election time, you hear all the time, well, he only paid 3%. Because his effective rate takes into consideration his capital gains.
You're talking about Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Right? Warren Buffett has lots of dividends, and so those are another different way of getting taxed. So same thing with personal residence. So how are personal residents taxed differently, Dana? Right?
When you sell your personal house.
Resident. If
they don't get taxed.
Right. Up to,
well, if you're married filing joint, it's what, $500?
And if you're single?
The
$250,000,
right? Yep.
So that's remarkable. We did that seminar this morning. We said, look, one of the best things you can do is buy kind of a fixer-upper, live in it for 2 years, sell it, make a profit, don't pay taxes, buy another house, live in it for 2 years, make a profit, don't pay taxes. And you don't even have to buy another house.
There's no replacement anymore.
You can go take a trip around the world. It's just tax-free. Same thing with sale of depreciable assets. Now, that's a horse of a different color, right?
That's right. Because you have to recapture all that depreciation. So stick with the rental property. You had it for 30 years, and it cost you $100,000. You sell it for $100,000. You think, I don't have to worry about taxes. Yeah, you do, because that whole $100,000 becomes taxable.
And if you had accelerated depreciation, some of it's recaptured as ordinary income. So anyway, let's go back to the phones, and we will talk to Dan in East Aurora. Hey, Dan.
Hey, hello.
How can we help you?
Well, my question is, I'm 71 years old, retired for 8 years, living on Social Security. I filed tax reforms the last 4 years and paid nothing.
I don't think you have to file anymore, Dan.
That's my question.
Is your only source of income Social Security?
Social Security and a $500 a month
Pension.
Retirement.
And they're not taking anything out of the retirement, right, Dan?
Right.
Okay, and your house is worth less than $81,000 or more than $81,000?
More.
More. All right, so you don't have to file.
But do you have an IRA?
Yes.
Aha.
You can actually start taking money out of your IRA.
Well, he has to. He's 71.
Oh, yeah, you have to do your RMD. Did you start taking out of your your IRA, Dan?
I haven't yet, no.
Well, at age 70 and a half, you have to start taking money out of your IRA. So this year, when you turn, what's your birthday? Yeah.
September.
You turned 71 in September?
72 in September.
Oh boy, you're a couple years behind.
All right, so what you're going to, the penalty for what you didn't take out, Dan, is 50% of the money that you were required to take out. It's a required minimum distribution. There is a way to get around it and ask kind of for a mea culpa, but we have to submit it with a request to have it waived. But if you were supposed to take out $8,000 and you didn't, the penalty is $4,000. So I think you better call us so we can help you, Dan. That was a great catch, by the way, Chris.
Okay, I will.
All right, thank you, Dan.
By the IRA, you did not mean a 401k.
No, I mean, well, if the 401k is your $500 pension, right?
Yes.
Okay, do you have an IRA too?
No.
Just your 401k?
Just the 401k.
And that's the $500, right?
Right.
Then you're good.
As long as the $6,000 equals the minimum distribution.
Then you're good.
Okay.
All right, Dan. Bye-bye. Boy, I thought we were
gonna,
yeah, anyway.
Well, good for him.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with your calls on the other side.
Just like the one-winged dove sings a song that she's singing.
Ooh, ooh. Well, you can see we're not going to have any day jobs singing. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're open to help you, and we want to help you. And I'm going to tell you, if you're in doubt, just call us. We're not going to make you come in. We just want to help you because we love you and we don't want you to overpay your taxes. All right, let's go back to the phones, and we're going to go to Dave in Grand Island. Hey, Mr. Dave, how can we help you, sir?
Hey, I hope you can. Last year we paid the fine for me not having medical insurance.
Okay.
And they messed up my records when it first went in. What was it, December of 13? And I haven't been able to get on the website at all.
Are you talking about the New York State of Health?
Yeah, the
well, actually, we have healthcare navigators that'll help you, and we don't charge for the service.
Well,
so,
here's the problem. Every time I've gone in, I've even gone through some of the healthcare navigators, and my records are frozen. My computer records are frozen.
Okay.
And they haven't been able to get it fixed.
Has anybody called the state for you?
Oh, yeah.
And they just...
Several times. In fact, the last time I went in through somebody, one of the community centers, and I won't mention the name of the company, but anyway, they called and they got it straightened out, supposedly. They started looking into it, and about, I'd say maybe 4 to 5 months later, I got an email saying, please contact us, you are available for health care. So I contacted them, and they says, oh, your records are frozen. So it's like, well, every time I call, I can't get in. They can't change my records.
Well, I would say he has an exception
I
to
would
penalty.
definitely.
That's one of them others.
I would say an exception to penalty.
I would
but
do the exception to penalty.
I would call our office at 632-7886, talk to Tim or Karen,
okay,
and they will get on the phone with New York. Tim is our main healthcare navigator, but he I can't say loves, but I've heard him on the phone raising his voice quite a few times to get to somebody who can answer and get everything resolved,
Right, but I
because
will
you
tell
have
you,
to.
I think, Dave, you have an exception to penalty.
and you
have
should
all
amend-
documentation that says that you've tried and you have proof that you've written letters and all that stuff, right?
I have the phone calls written down and numbers. And
Oh, that's great. That's great.
A lot of this, in fact, like I said, I talked to one of the healthcare navigators at a community center, and she called, and they all say the same thing. They says, "I've never seen this before." I said, "Well, thanks, but
Hey, well, where there's a computer, there can be a glitch. I'll tell you that. So yeah, give us a call and we'll help you, Dave.
Yeah, but
okay?
amend those returns and get your money back.
Right.
wonderful. That sounds good."
Okay, Dave. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. Okay, and we're going to go to Roberta. Roberta, how can we help you?
Hey, Esther and Chris, this is actually Tiffany. I'm with Robert, who's one of my clients who is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he has a question that I want to make sure I'm answering correctly. It's a consultation.
Okay.
Okay, so his mom passed away in 2015, and he inherited an IRA, and so he should have taken her RMD because she was over the age of 70 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't. And so, usually when somebody is brand new, 70 and a half, you get to the following year. Does Robert get to abide by those same rules?
I don't know. I would think so. But you know what? Have Robert call us Monday, and I will research it over the weekend.
Okay.
All right? Thanks, Tiff. Bye-bye. That was weird.
Special guest appearance by
That was
Tiffany
weird.
Fabian.
Yeah, okay, let's go to Mary. Hey, Mary, how can we help you?
Yeah, I have two things. One, when you mentioned that IRA, I had one and didn't really know what it was. I thought it was more savings taken out of my pay, but I worked for a nonprofit, and I've never taken it out, and I should have done it.
How old are you, Mary?
76.
Okay, Mary, we need to help you because you got to straighten this out. If it is a pension plan and you're over the age of, like Chris had mentioned before, 70 and a half, the required minimum distribution is that you have to start taking it out, and the penalty is 50% of what you didn't take out. How much is in there?
I think 8,000.
Oh, okay, so it's
going to be not a
gonna
lot.
be a lot. And I mean, you didn't get bumped on the head or fall out of a tree or anything bad like that, right? I mean, why is it that you didn't start withdrawing it?
I thought it was a pension. I didn't know that there were those regulations, but when I called, they said because it was a nonprofit, because I worked for a nonprofit.
Well, so what we do is we ask them to have mercy on us. We have to send them a please have mercy on us letter, and so we'll help you with that. So if you want to call us, we'll be very happy to help you.
Okay. The other one was somebody let me use an apartment without any rent. It was a rental place, or it was a vacation place.
Right.
I let somebody use it that paid me.
So you subleased.
And yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So you got rental income.
Even though, but it wasn't my property, and I wasn't.
You still got rental income.
Okay, so I have to
report that on a Schedule E.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And let's quickly go to Larry. Hi, Larry. How can we help you quickly?
Yeah, hi. Bought a house in June, fixed it up. My daughter's living there. Gonna sell it to her this June after she gets her mortgage and everything. I just wanted, do I have to claim that house?
Yeah, if you sell it, you have to report it. And the difference between, are you gifting it to her or selling it?
Well, I'm not making any money on it. I'm losing money when I sell it to her.
Well, if you're selling it to her and there's a loss, with this loss, it's not deductible because
you
it's...
still have to report it.
Yep, but you have to report the sale. Is she paying rent at all?
No, she's
okay.
Rent-free for a few months until she's in one of the mortgage assistance programs. When she gets her money, she's going to apply for a mortgage and pay me back.
Okay.
Let's just put it like this. I'm going to have $1,000 invested in my money. I'm only going to ask her for $70,000.
Okay, but you do have to report it, but it's going to be a non-deductible loss. So you get to, it's not going to cost you anything, but you do have to report it because you're going to get a 1099-S form, which goes to the IRS. That means that they'll know, Larry, and if you don't do the form, then they're going to send you a bill. It'll ruin your summer vacation.
Okay, so I just got to tell them I bought the house and it's just sitting there then.
Well, you kind of don't. You do it on an official form on a Schedule D.
Okay.
Okay.
So I do have to tell them, and then I got to tell them I sold it.
Right.
Okay, and keep all my rent,
all of your receipts.
Okay,
thanks, Larry. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. When it comes to taxes, we are on your side. And I don't care what it is, where you've heard. If you got a problem, we want to help you. And myself, Chris, Dana, Tiffany, we're all there. If we don't know, we're going to look it up. I'll tell you that. We will, even, I don't care how obscure it is, we will get the answer for you. And that's part of what we pride ourselves on at EG Tax. So during the week, if you need help, all of our offices are open, all 33 of them. You can go to our website at egtax.com. Until next Saturday, I'm Esther Gullius, and Christopher Fabian and Dana are fill-in. Have a great week. God bless you. Bye-bye.